Hey guys, hope everybody is doing well. I want to do an update, which is 1 week into my cruise cycle. So I went from around a gram of steroids a week, which was like 3 to 400 test and master on, and 150 to 200 NPP, as well as a little bit 5 milligrams a day Cialis and 4 to 5 IUs of growth hormone a day. And I brought that down to 150 test, a little under 150 Masteron, and 50 to 100 NPP. Right now it's around 50, but sometimes it'll be a little bit more. So I brought all the dosage down about to a third of what I was doing before. And 1 week into it, I actually feel a lot better. I don't know what was going on there, where it was making me have anxiety. There was a little bit of anxiety last week. If you follow my videos, you'll know why a situation happened that would cause it. But that lingered for about 4 days, and that's when I decided to come down to like a more cruising dose. And long story short, there's a calculation how you figure that out, which is you take your body weight, you convert to kilograms, you times the kilograms times 3, and then divide that by 2. So that comes to 150. That's the amount of tests you do. And then you fill in the gap to around 300 with either 1 or 2 other compounds. I like, at this dose at least, I want to keep Masteron a little bit below the amount of testosterone I'm doing, just because I believe I'm really sensitive to that estradiol, like the Masteron on estradiol, so I don't want to totally crush it, right? Because that can create some negativity as well when you're not taking super physiological doses of testosterone. But I still want that Masteron. I still like the effect it has. I still love it as a compound, and I want to take it in a safe dose. And then a little bit of nandrolone. You know what? Some people said like there's no point of even doing like 50 to 100 milligrams, and I might kind of agree with that, but I don't think it's going to do harm, and I think it will still have an additive effect on the other compounds I'm taking. Like, it doesn't matter really if you take like a little bit of like 3 compounds adds up a lot, right? So in total, if you're taking 300 milligrams, even 50 milligrams of that is just nandrolone, that still adds up to 300, okay? And nandrolone also, I believe, is good for a cruise cycle and a little small dose, because it doesn't have like some of the negative side effects that testosterone even has, okay? Like hair loss. And it has also great effects on the joints, and my joints are fucked from skateboarding and snowboarding for 30 plus years of jumping downstairs and doing kickflips downstairs and shit. Fucked up my ankle so many times. I've broken more bones than I can even count the amount of times I've broken bones. So anyway, a little bit, if that 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams of nandrolone even helps my joints out 20%, I'll be happy with that. So that's where I'm at now. I'm still continuing to take that Cialis, and I believe that's, first of all, the effect it had on my blood pressure, amazing. And the amount of pumps, like you take it as a pre-workout, I take it around an hour before I work out. And like the pumps I get in the gym now are unreal. And the vascularity, I've never had this amount of vascularity before, where I can see the veins popping out of my forearms and biceps and things like that. And I guess I should talk about the human growth hormone a little bit too. So I got a new source for that, because my last one, they weren't really reliable. I thought they ripped me off, but then they got back to me saying that there was an issue with the one website that I sent the money to. I got my money back, but I'm like, you know what? Their customer service and their reliability shown not to be great, so I found a new source which is super reliable. I have to pay an extra $20 for it, but that's okay, because as soon as I put my order through, it goes through, I get a tracking number and shipped to my house within 3 days. Like, that's what I want, because the thing about human growth hormone is, you buy a kit of it. Say you buy a kit at a time of 10 vials. You're coming down to a few vials left, and say you put an order through. If the order doesn't go through and you run out of your HGH, then you're shit out of luck for maybe a week or 2 or 3 without doing it, and then you're not doing it consistently. Like, you want reliability when it comes to that, because you want to be doing that consistently. And so I inject around 4 to 5 to 6 IUs a day. It varies. Essentially, I fill a insulin syringe up. Like, first I reconstitute it in the vial. I fill an insulin syringe up, so it's like 10 cc's, right? Just filled syringe, and I use the same syringe over the few days to inject. That might not be the most sterile way to do it, but I'm not getting any infections or anything. It's fine. And I just do inject a few ticks at a time. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Like, at night I might go up to 3 ticks, which might be like 4 IU injection. Sometimes in the morning I might just do what equals to 1 or 2 IUs. I do a smaller injection in the morning, and I noticed that this growth hormone, I might even believe it is even better than the last stuff, because all the telltale signs of HGH, which is, for one, I don't know if you guys have ever had really high blood sugar levels before, but when you inject HGH, you're not supposed to eat like any carbohydrates or anything like that, okay? I made the mistake of doing that a few times, and just because I injected it, and then like about less than an hour later, say I went to my parents' house and ate some food there, and totally forgot that I injected it, and I should have probably waited longer. Oh, I could tell my blood sugar levels were spiked hard. Like, my heart rate was pumping, and I felt like flushed, and it was like, I need to lie down and things. Like, I don't know if you guys have had that before, but it's like really, it's not something that you want to have normally, you know what I mean? You don't want diabetes down the road. So, like, that's one of the reasons why people who take a lot of growth also take insulin, I believe. Don't quote me on this one, because I've never taken insulin. But, like, if they eat a huge carb meal, because they're, as well as taking growth throughout the day, they're also eating like 6 meals. So, they don't want that spike in blood sugar, so they inject a little insulin, and that moderates that. And a nice spike. And then also that there is an anabolic effect there as well with that. But I'm not going to inject insulin. I believe, like, my formula right now of everything, the balance I have, is working well for me. And I'm really happy with all my underground lab sources right now. Like, I get shit for dirt cheap compared to, I know a lot of people, like $25 for a vial of testosterone, $30 a vial of NPP and Masteron. Like, you can't get any better than that. Like, I know people who pay like $120 for like Primobolan and things. I wish I had a better Primobolan. I might do that instead if I did. But, like, I know Primobolan is great and all. If you have a good source of it and you test it, it's good. But it also can be underdosed. It also could be Masteron. So Masteron, I believe, is more legit more of the time and is cheaper. And it's very similar effect than Primobolan. And it even has, I think, some better desirable effects. For example, Primobolan, the half-life of it is like, I don't know, it takes like 5 days or so, right? Which is, it doesn't mean it's a really long ester, but it's longer, right? Masteron propionate is only 0.8 of a day. So you got to have more injection frequency, and I believe the Masteron propionate, as opposed to an enanthate, is better for cutting. So if that's something you want to do, or recomping, such as what I wanted to do, which was lose bloating, lose a little bit of fat. Like, the reason I believe, don't quote me on this again, that bodybuilders take the Masteron propionate normally is for contest prep. Now, I also know that they take Masteron propionate also in the off season as well, but potentially all year round. But I know it's known for that contest prep for a reason, which is that's the time when you're in hardcore cutting phase, but you also don't want to lose your mass, right? And Masteron does have an anabolic effect that's desirable as well. It's not totally strong as Anavar or even testosterone, but it's still there, and it adds up. Like if you're taking that test base, Masteron, and NPP, what does have a great anabolic effect, then that all combined, 100 plus 70 plus 100 again, say 120,